Okay, it's real. Can you hear me? It's real. My name is Merrick First. I'm the founder and director of Flashpoint. You all know who you are, but let me tell you who you actually are. You play a role in this. It's a very important role in this. People who sat in seats just like the seats that you're sitting in now and have looked at companies at this stage and made investments in them have been tremendously successful. At Georgia Tech, we're trying something new with Flashpoint. This is the first batch. We're very excited to be here with you today. This program started a little bit more than a year ago when Steve Cross asked Ravi Bellamkonda and I to co-chair a task force to try to ask and answer the question, what could this university do to be more successful at innovation and entrepreneurship? The answer was to run experiments like Flashpoint. Flashpoint today is more than an experiment. There are 15 teams who are going to come up and talk to you today about what they've been working on and where they are. I'm very happy to be here with them today. I'm not going to take up much time because what today is about the teams. Your role relative to the teams is to help them move forward from where they are. I'm going to introduce first, just to say a few words on behalf of the university, Steve Cross, who's the Executive Vice President for Research for the university.
Thank you. I promise I won't take much time either. It was about a year ago, and if I go back a year ago, not only were we in the middle of the Ice Age, if you remember what it was exactly a year ago today, but we had this idea that Merrick was pushing, but we had no budget, no space, really no program, no thought of how we were going to pull this off. And you know, crowds look big from the podium. This is really gratifying to see this much interest in this program. And there's not enough time to thank everybody who made this happen, but it was a real team effort. It was a team effort within Georgia Tech. Sig Mosley, everybody who mentored these teams, it's very much appreciated for what we've done. And it's going to be very exciting to see how this happens. I hope I'm not stealing any thunder, but I was thinking that when we tried this experiment, and we did this new strategic plan at Georgia Tech, we were really trying to bring innovation to innovation. And one of the things we want to do in this experiment is accelerate the creation of, birth faster new companies. But I think Merrick deserves a lot of credit for also helping birth a new field that he calls startup engineering, and a new field of research, a new field of scholarship. So it's been really exciting to see this all come together in the past 3 or 4 months. I commend those of you who have been, and thank you very much for those of you who have been involved in this. And without saying anything more except thank you one more time, I'll turn it back over to Merrick and look forward to the presentations today.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll just really quickly add my thanks. SIG pulled together some risk capital in Atlanta very quickly. It's been very effective. The people who participated in that fund, thank you very much. Others of you who participated helping the teams, thank you. Keep going, keep doing it. It's the right thing to do. Thank you very much to Ravi was here. Someone else I'm missing here. Dean Galil was very helpful in making this happen. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking because all that's actually important is what you hear from the teams, except for you need to hear from Paul Ollinger, who's going to be our Master of Ceremonies. Paul is a recent transplant back to Atlanta, a native Atlantan, been extraordinarily successful in the internet. Is a veteran at Yahoo, was one of the very first few people at Facebook. He's been involved with Flashpoint, working with teams, mentoring teams. He's here today to act as Master of Ceremonies. So without further ado, I turn it over to Paul. Please greet him.
Thanks very much. Can everybody hear me in the back? How's volume? Good? All right, cool. This is really exciting. I mean, to look around, it's a full house today. A lot of people representing a lot of different functions here today. As Merrick mentioned, I spent the last 4.5 years at Facebook, most recently running the West Coast sales team. But I've always had this dream to come back to Atlanta as an adult, where I graduated from high school and come back. And it's been really, really gratifying to me, after having come back and leaving Facebook, to get involved with Flashpoint and some of the others in the Venture Atlanta community, to see this vibrant community really out there making things happen, a lot of which is around this great educational resource we have here at Georgia Tech. So I'm very, very pleased to be a part of it, so thanks for having me. Just a couple of logistical sort of announcements today. Each team's going to have 6 minutes to present their ideas and business strategy. We'll have 1 minute of transition between teams. We'll do 8 companies first, have a few words from Sig Mosley and Alan Nance, take an intermission, come back, do 7 more companies the same way, then we'll break at that. These teams have been working really hard to prepare their presentations. We appreciate your full attention. Also, we want to say that we've got a Twitter tag for this event, Flashpoint GT. So when you're seeing great ideas, be sure to broadcast those out to your Twitter followers. Oh, and one last rule: if your cell phone rings during one of these presentations, you have to write a check today. That's just the way it goes. So either get out your checkbooks or silence those phones. Everybody ready? We ready? Yeah. Let's have some fun today. All right.
I'm Marcel Crudell, the president of Socket, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about how local businesses plug into their customers online. Now, being online used to mean that a local business had a website. And to update the content on that website, they originally used things like text editors and FTP. That ended up evolving into web development apps like Dreamweaver, and eventually into content management systems. But being online today means a lot more for a local business. Their online footprint has gotten much bigger. And they still have to manage all their core content like events and photos, but in a broader way. And they also have to manage new types of content, like direct customer engagement through things like status updates. And on top of it all, they also should be listening to what their customers are saying through user reviews, blogs, news posts. The list gets pretty long. So what we're seeing is an emerging need for a new type of content management system, a social content management system. And for your local business owner that is trying to manage all this without that, it can be overwhelming. They're trying to manage this new online presence and customer engagement through all these different channels. And that problem gets even bigger if you're someone like a franchise or a PR marketing agency that's trying to do this for multiple locations. And this is the pain that Socket addresses. We provide a social content management system for people trying to manage customer engagement through multiple local businesses. And we do that by providing a single place for them to manage all their content for these locations in one place. We then push that information everywhere it's supposed to go, including individual websites, while pulling down information relevant to each location from wherever it happens to be. And being at the center of that information exchange allows for Socket Analytics to provide an overview of what's working and what's not, down to the location level. And it's this combination of comprehensive social content management with a focus on local businesses that distinguishes us from other technologies that are beginning to emerge in this industry. We refer to it as social LSM, local store marketing. And this is a phrase that we borrowed from an agency that we're working with, Trevelino Keller. They've represented brands such as Planet Smoothie and TCBY. And this week they'll be announcing a new service that they're going to be providing to those franchises around social LSM. This is something they haven't been able to do before. They haven't been able to reach the customer except through that franchise brand. They haven't been able to extend it to local because it was just too unwieldy. It took too much effort. And Socket's enabling them to do this for the first time. So when you think about the potential market of local businesses in the US trying to reach their customers, that's huge and overwhelming. So our initial focus is on corporate and franchise businesses, specifically retail and restaurants. One of the benefits of this particular market is that they're already very active trying to manage all these customer engagements, but it's challenging. So you've got a big and growing market segment to start off with that is very sensitive to the pain that Socket addresses. And we'll be delivering Socket to them on a monthly subscription basis, on a location-by-location basis, and reaching them with a channel distribution strategy. Now, when I say agencies here, an agency can be an internal corporate team that delivers those types of services for the brand, or an external PR marketing agency. And we also work with strategic partners like Radiant Systems, whose Aloha POS system is in 1 out of every 4 restaurants in the US. So being local is something that I've been passionate about for a long time. I love all things local. I like knowing all the nooks and crannies of what's going on, in my case, in Atlanta. That passion is actually what I've been blogging about for 3 years. It's what led me to sell my previous company, which was a consulting company, to my partner in Dallas in order to pursue that passion. And it's led us into Socket. And I've been fortunate to be joined by Mark Tran, who I've worked with for 8 years. He was actually a contractor with my previous company, who's just a rock star technical alchemist. So very fortunate to have him. And we have received some recognition already, including the most prestigious inclusion in the Flashpoint program, of course. We also have some great advisors, including Jeff Heineman, director at NCR. NCR actually acquired Radiant Systems last summer. And Dean Trevolino, who's the owner of the agency I mentioned before and an expert in the franchise industry. We also have several sophisticated and experienced investors from around the country. So where we are right now is we've got a working product, and we're beginning to drive revenue. We actually are driving revenue from early adopters. What we're looking for is a Series A, $1 million in Series A funding in order to develop these relationships that I've mentioned and continue to extend Socket's functionality and scale sales over the next 12 months, with the goal being to reach be cash flow break even within a year. So we're really excited to be as part of this emerging industry. And if you're interested in coming along and helping us define that industry, we'd love to talk to you afterwards. And also, I noticed on the RSVP list, there are a number of agencies here. We're outside, so come talk to us.